Get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Season's greetings, one and all, and welcome back to an exciting episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Specifically, the final episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast in 2022. How have you all been doing? I hope you are all having a great day. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I know I certainly have, and even today, even though this is like the day, even though we are getting closer and closer to Christmas, I still have been pretty busy with some different work. So yeah, it's been pretty hectic, and well, this is part of it, to go and run this podcast. And let me tell you, do we have one heck of an episode for you today. But before we go and begin this, I would just like to go and make a quick announcement regarding what's going to be happening in the next few weeks. Considering that, well, next week it is going to be Christmas, there will be no episode next Monday or for the next week. And well, of course, considering that it is the holidays, the reason is because it is much better to go and spend your time with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones. I know that's exactly what I'm going to be doing during the holidays, so I will be spending my time on that, and we'll be putting AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast on the side, so hopefully you can all understand that. But also, I do want to mention that for the week after that, AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast will be coming back, but not just returning for a regular episode. We will have a very special episode as we will bid one more farewell to 2022 by counting down the top 5 animation news of the year. Yes, that annual countdown is back. And what we are going to do is that we will definitely be looking back, and we will go and check in on the wildest, the most insane stories that have dominated not just animation, but also in entertainment. From crazy CEOs to layoffs to write-offs to lost media being found. Oh, it's going to be one heck of a memorable time when we will do that countdown. But again, that will be on January 2nd live on Twitch. And then a few days afterwards, it will be uploaded on YouTube, as well as the other podcast services that you would go and probably listen to. But that's not what we're doing right now. What we are doing right now is going to be quite an interesting week when it comes to all the different things that we have seen, coming from trailers to different big name news. It's going to be one heck of a good time, at least in terms of the final episode of 2022. So with all that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, are you ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it, folks. Are you all ready? Now, let's see. Yes, that is great. Oh, people are all prepared. That's wonderful to see. And so, without further ado, I believe now it is time that we shall go and get things started. And with our first story that we have for you today, we are going to be looking at a very special trailer. Now, I know that we have gotten a lot of big name trailers that have gotten many people's attention, rather it be that crazy Barbie teaser trailer, or even very recently the Oppenheimer trailer. But what I'm going to be looking at actually is going to be the most anticipated movie of 2023, or what is debatably the most anticipated movie of 2023. Because this one, I could tell you, it's been delayed again and again, and we were supposed to have it this year, but Sony decided that it's going to be in June of 2023 that it will be the perfect time to go and present it. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the trailer for the highly anticipated sequel of Spider-Man. Whoops, nope, wrong one. Here we go. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
can hear you being quiet, Mom.
I hope I didn't ice your game, man.
No one my age says those words in that order.
It's just hard to see my little man not being my little boy all the time.
Yeah.
You know, for years I've been taking care of this little boy. Making sure he is loved, that he feels like he belongs wherever he wants to be. He wants to go out into the world and do great big things.
Not bad, kid.
And what I worry about most
I love you, Miles.
is they won't look out for you like us.
Miles!
Want to get out of here? Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from. And he never doubts that he is loved. And he never lets anyone tell him that he doesn't belong there. You gotta promise, Miles.
I promise.
Who do you think you are? Really?
We are supposed to be the good guys.
We are.
And that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, in which it will be coming to the big screen on June 2nd of next year. Or at least this is probably the final time that I will be saying that. And one thing that I do have to state is that if there's one thing we can go and agree on, is that this is probably Sony Animation's most important sequel that they have done, more so than literally any of their other features, especially when it comes to the fact that the first Spider-Verse is not just unanimously considered to be their greatest movie, but also what is possibly the most groundbreaking animated feature in recent years. The one that really did put the medium into a brand new level and have inspired other studios to take a step forward and to go and really try something new with their animation, in which we have seen the after effects of what has happened, especially this year, thanks to movies such as The Bad Guys or even Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. We have seen that influence start to appear in other features and in other places in animation, and it has been going very beautifully. And this is not even to mention that when it comes to this production right over here, so far it now has the new record of the most people working on an animated feature, where I believe it is said that over 1,000 people are going to be working on the sequel. So Sony Animation knows very well that they cannot mess this up. That there is what is debatably an impossibly high standard that they have to go and reach in order to make sure that this would be worthy to be a sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And in my honest opinion, it looks like Sony Animation understood that assignment. And yeah, I think this could be somewhere that might end up in the levels of the first Spider-Verse. Maybe even more, actually. Now, one thing I will say that's very interesting is that with this teaser trailer, I kind of feel like, or with this trailer, I kind of feel like this is more of a teaser, more so than it actually is a regular trailer, because the last trailer that we have received, I feel like with that one, we have seen much more than we did over here, because a good part of it is actually just replaying clips from the first movie. Like, we kind of got a bit of a highlight reel of Miles's journey in the first Spider-Verse, where we see him buying the costume, then being mentored by Peter Burrito Parker, And then like you got like the key iconic moments where we see Miles truly becoming Spider-Man. So like we know that a good like not most of it, but a good portion is pretty much dominated by film reels or flashbacks from the first movie. And also, I do want to mention that we don't necessarily get as much action as the first, because of course, you probably remember in the previous trailer, like we got that epic battle of Miles versus 2099 Spider-Man as they kept on jumping through different universes, and we see them go through like many different styles. But in this case, though, I know at the end there was like the epically large chase scene where we see all the Spider-Mans that are just chasing Miles. Like we got that moment, but I wouldn't necessarily say that like this is a big prominent action scene that they are showing, or at least compared to the one that we have received in the previous trailer, but it's just like a very small taste. Now, this is not to go and criticize this trailer at all, of course. What I am trying to say is that this does feel like a second teaser trailer than an actual official trailer to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, because they don't necessarily show us a whole lot of what this is going to be. The most that we got is just the interaction with Miles and his mother, and then we got a taste of like dozens, if not hundreds, of different Spider-Mans all together in like this big epic universe where we would see all the different forms of Spider-Mans and all the different styles of Spider-Mans as well. Now, with that said, though, this trailer is still incredible. And one thing I have to say, it is absolutely shocking about this, and I didn't expect it. Oh my God, I did not expect this to be so heartfelt. Like, oh my God, there's like, I would actually say there's a lot more feels in this than there is action. It is truly epic, honestly. Because in this movie, like what we got like with the flashback and stuff like that, it's the interaction with Miles and his mother, and like it really is so heartfelt, especially with the message about how the mom wants Miles to take care of the little boy that she has been raising, you know, to basically Miles to treat himself the same way his parents have treated him. And honestly, it is such a heartfelt connection, and something that yeah, sometimes you hear it in other movies, but not in the way that Spider-Verse did. And it's like such a truly touching moment between a mother and their child, like seeing a mother just feeling like, I want you to take care of yourself, please. You know, like it's obvious that she still sees Miles as the little boy that, you know, that she was raising all these years. And now she wants to ask Miles, like now the grown-up version of that baby, to go and take care of that baby. Like, please take care of yourself, Miles. Like, it was truly a touching moment that honestly I did not expect. Like that alone honestly did feel pretty powerful. And I mean, maybe it did help, like when we got a little bit of a taste of like, remember these moments in the first Spider-Verse. So overall, those moments actually worked out so beautifully in there. So honestly, that was a great introduction to this trailer. But then, of course, you got all the action. And one thing that gave us so much more, even more so than the first Spider-Verse, has to be all the Spider-Mans. Oh, man, you want more than just, like, the main Spider-Mans that you got in Into the Spider-Verse? Yeah, it's got a lot. Like, you got all the Spider-Mans. Like, check out, like, the one scene where we see, like, Miles and Gwen, like just hanging out, and then suddenly pans out to all the Spider-Mans. All the Spider-Mans. We are getting all the Spider-Mans. And I think it is safe to say that if you are an avid Spider-Man fan, you will recognize at least one or even a few Spider-Mans in this, because all the different versions that they want to go and feature, they are here. Regardless if it's from the other comic book versions, regardless if it's from an animated project, or even in the video games. Like one example that I remember some people have pointed out is that we actually got a taste of the first PlayStation Spider-Man. Like hold on, like right over here. Hold on, I just need to back that up a little bit. This Spider-Man, like way on the left, like that is obviously from a video game who's like not even trying to go and catch up. And then you see all these different Spider-Mans that are chasing Miles Morales. Like you got all these people coming together, and like you see them like just chasing Spider-Man. You know, it's like it kind of is a little bit like the same tone that we got in the last trailer. You know, it's the same one where we see, like, for some reason, we see multiple Spider-Mans that are now combating each other. But instead of just Miles and Spider-Man 2099, we got, like, all the other Spider-Mans. Like, every single Spider-Man wants to go and chase Miles Morales for some reason. You know, like, they're all chasing him as if it's like, get Miles! He's not the real Spider-Man! He's black! That makes him woke! Get him! And just everybody chasing him down. But, you know what? Speaking of which, that's also another thing that I just wanted to get this out of my system, is the massive hypocrisy that we see from all these anti-woke people, that they claim that they love Spider-Verse, and yet with their ideologies, with their principles, and with their beliefs, like, no, like they're going completely against what Spider-Verse is all about. Because you got to keep in mind, in the first Spider-Verse movie, the main message of it all is that anyone can wear the mask. It means that anyone, including Miles Morales, that if they are brave enough, they can actually be Spider-Man. But that being Spider-Man requires much more than gaining superpowers from a bite from a radioactive spider. Like, that's the whole point of it, is that no matter who you are, no matter what the color of your skin is, no matter what gender you are, or no matter what your sexual orientation is, you can be Spider-Man. And yet you got all these alt-right influencers, and you got these anti-woke people going around trying to go against that message. In fact, for the longest time, you've seen many of these people trying to go after Miles Morales. Like, one white nationalist dog whistle that I have noticed they've been trying to do is actually go after Miles Morales, trying to discredit him from saying that, from being Spider-Man. Like, they would go and say Miles Morales is Miles Morales and Peter Parker is Spider-Man, basically saying that Miles Morales cannot be Spider-Man, and they do so with other superheroes, basically saying that only white people can be superheroes and not any people of color. And again, this is an obvious white nationalist dog whistle. And this is why and it needs to be said, real Spider-Verse fans do not go and bitch about woke culture. It's either you support Spider-Verse and you're okay with woke culture, or you hate woke culture and also you hate Spider-Verse. And I would go and debatably say that technically, by their standards, one of the most woke movies out there is indeed Spider-Verse. So honestly, we need to go and cut the bull crap, and we need to call these people out. Because honestly, I'm tired of this damn hypocrisy. And I'm tired of like this freaking gatekeeping for obvious bigoted reasons. No, you are not allowed to be racist if you want to enjoy Spider-Verse. You cannot be bigoted whatsoever. You cannot be homophobic. You cannot be transphobic. You cannot be sexist. You cannot be racist or anything like that. You have to be okay with woke culture if you want to consider yourself a fan of Spider-Verse. Otherwise, it means you hate Spider-Verse because of obviously racist reasons. If you want to enjoy Spider-Verse, if you want to prove to me that you're a real Spider-Verse fan, then silence your freaking hate speech. But I just wanted to go and get that out of the way. And also on top of that, even in this trailer, it does have it does have a message that goes against what those anti-woke people have been saying. Like, there's even it was around this part here that Miles Morales' mom would go and contradict what they say, that yeah, Miles Morales can indeed be Spider-Man. He's allowed to be whatever he wants. Whoops.
Is they won't look out for you like us.
Miles!
Want to get out of here? Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he came from. And he never doubts that he is loved. And he never lets anyone tell him that he doesn't belong there.
Exactly. This right here, that is the message right there. That goes against the far right ideologies that they're trying to imply in Miles Morales. Who the hell are those anti-woke people to say of who Miles Morales is? What the hell do they know about comic books or superheroes anyways? Whatever opinion they may have, it's objectively canceled. Like, who cares what they think? They're not intelligent enough to comprehend what Spider-Verse is about. They're not intelligent enough to understand why the Spider-Verse movies are good. That's the thing. It's either you like Spider-Verse and you like woke culture, or you're against woke culture and you hate Spider-Verse because you're racist. But overall, though, going back to what I'm talking about, this trailer, honestly, it's awesome. We didn't get a whole lot out of it, but that's perfectly fine. You know, it's a trailer, and the good news is that we're going to get a lot more surprises when the movie does come out. So honestly, honestly, a great trailer. And yeah, I definitely do consider this one of my most anticipated movies of next year. I wouldn't say my most anticipated. Again, I'm more anticipated for the Super Mario Brothers movie, obviously for personal reasons as a lifelong Mario fan, but this is still really exciting and I can't wait to check this one out. And if you're excited, then don't forget that the movie will be coming out on June 2nd of 2023. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall and I want to ask you all, how do you feel about this trailer of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse? Did you guys enjoy it? Do you have any questions? Are there some things that you have noticed, by the way? Let me know what you think. Oh man, I've been recording all day, honestly, and I've been really using my voice. So yeah, like I do apologize if you notice that the clarity of my voice or the quality of my voice is not as 100%. Anyways, let's see what we got here. Oh man, Matt, 2023 will be an amazing year for movies, but also so difficult. Though I think Spider-Verse 2 will be the box office winner, I also want to see Elementals. And so long as my sister still lives with me, we can see both. Glad you made the joke about spider people attacking Miles because he's black. It's kind of the thing that makes me love you as a creator. Ah, you're welcome. Like, I know there are gonna be people out there who are gonna go and like really fight in terms of like what's gonna be the big box office winner. Like, is it gonna be Spider-Verse 2 or is it gonna be Elemental? Like, I know there are gonna be people who will be butting heads over this, but honestly for me, I feel like there's no point. I feel like, honestly, for the Elemental fans and for the Spider-Verse fans, I think it's more important that they work together. Because honestly, you have a common enemy. Because it doesn't matter which one is the box office winner, as long as The Flash is a box office flop. And I think that's the more important thing. It doesn't matter who becomes first, either Elemental or Spider-Verse, as long as you can keep The Flash down, you make that a box office bomb because of Ezra Miller's involvement and Warner Brothers' refusal to go and give Ezra Miller the consequences that he deserves. Then honestly, I think we can all be happy with that. Let's see. Well, this is some trailer we got here. Every time I watch this trailer, my hype senses start to kick in. Seriously, this is epic than any other trailer. And holy crap, there's a lot of Spider-Man. Sign me up and take my money. The only thing I'm disappointed is that they didn't bring back my favorite character like Penny Parker and Spider-Ham, but I think they might appear later on. Also, if you ever get a PS5, I recommend that you try Spider-Man PS4 game and Spider-Man Miles Morales. They are amazing. Oh yeah, I've heard a lot of amazing things, and if I do get like a PS4 or a PS5, I would, or most likely a PS5, but that'll be whatever time in the future. I would definitely get the Spider-Man games. Like, I've heard a lot of amazing things about them. Let's see now. Even with the Mario movie slowly drawing me in, I knew from the get-go that this would be peak 2023. And I'm glad to know this wasn't a letdown. The animation looks somehow upgraded. Miguel O'Hara is freaking insane. And I am here for it. And all I want to know is what the flip did Miles do to get everyone in the multiverse piss him off at like that? I mean, that alone I gotta see. But all I gotta ask is, with all the Spideys here, are they gonna throw in the meme of Danny DeVito in a Spider-Man costume? Oh my god, yeah, like, honestly, I wouldn't put it past them, because the thing is, if you do recall in the previous, if you do remember in the previous Spider-Verse film, like, they do embrace the memes, especially in the post-credit. Like, you see them reenact the memes, especially like right at the end, like in the post-credit where you do see Miguel O'Hara, and suddenly he finds himself in the first animated Spider-Man where they do the pointing meme. Like, oh my god, like, I would not be surprised if we would see more of those Spider-Man memes appear later on. So I think, honestly, that could be a possibility that we could have a Danny DeVito cameo. Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Tease the action and heart with strong animation, which will be a hit. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. I have to do that show how I'm to show how I'm ultra excited I am for this movie. In fact, this and Beyond the Spider-Verse received both as a hit and beloved as the first film. We might get ourselves one of the greatest animated trilogies since the Dragon films, or even surpass Sam Raimi and MCU Spider-Man trilogy. Can't wait until it comes out. All right, I think I'll read 2 more comments. After watching this trailer, my expectations wasn't just met, they were exceeded. The story so far feels emotionally intense. The action looks amazing. And I really do like the comments about the animation and all of the references. If I do have any guesses about this movie, I'm guessing one of the morals of this movie will be how far is too far, with the last 2 lines be hinting at. That could be a possibility, who knows? Well, this is some trailer we got here. Every time I watch this trailer, my hype's... Oh, no, I've already read that, sorry. Anyways, here we go. Could this be the first Sony Animation sequel that is a worthy successor to its already magnificent original, rather than an even worse follow-up to an already dismal first outing? I can't say for sure, but I think so. Either way, I'm hyped for this and Elemental, and I'm looking forward to this. So I'm hoping we see the Electric Company Spider-Man, Disney Infinity Spider-Man, and Hostess Cake Spider-Man in the movie. Oh yeah, I mean, like, with all the Spider-Mans in there, who the fridge knows which ones we are going to end up checking out. And we will be right back with our next story, which we will be talking about more superheroes, but let's just say there's someone out there who is more in trouble than Miles Morales. Let's just say that. Hey, welcome back. Now, our next story that we have over here, this is going to be an update regarding last week's story in regards to DC. Now, you probably recall that when it came to some DC news, we saw that there was a little bit of a chain of events that occurred that resulted in exposing the current state of the DC movies, and that, yeah, it was a complete mess. But now the biggest mission for James Gunn and Peter Safran, the new heads of the DC movies, to go and put everything in order. It started out with Black Adam, where there is a high possibility that it would turn out to be a major box office bomb. And then it ultimately led to knowing that, yeah, James and Peter need some serious work to do in order to completely reboot the DC cinematic universe. Now, one of the rumors that went around was the fact that there is a possibility that Henry Cavill would no longer play as Superman. And there was a bit of damage control that James Gunn tried to do to say that he really likes Henry, and that there might be some things that are true about many of the rumors that have been spread about the current state of the DC movies. There have been some that are not, and all that kind of stuff. But it seemed like last week, it doesn't look like James Gunn would go and completely get rid of Henry Cavill. It looks like there is a chance that he will definitely have that second chance of being Superman. I mean, what could possibly go wrong from there? I mean, what would James Gunn do? Write a new Superman movie without Henry Cavill? Well, yeah, that looks like it's going to happen there. Yes, the big news that was revealed last week was the fact that James Gunn has revealed that he is going to indeed be writing on a brand new Superman movie. Now, keep in mind that we don't necessarily have a major confirmation regarding how the movie is going to be, or who's also going to be featured in it, or who's going to even be the director. All we know so far is that James Gunn is writing the script, and that's it. There's not even a confirmation if he is going to be the director of this picture. And on top of that, we don't 100% know what this movie is going to be, other than the fact that apparently it will be set during Superman's early years. Now, will this mean we will see the origin story once again, where we see Krypton exploding and stuff like that? I don't know. Who knows? But the big news that is attached to this is not just the fact that we are going to have a Superman movie that is written by James Gunn, but it is also the fact that it has been confirmed that Henry Cavill will not be returning as Superman. Yes, that is sadly the news that has unfortunately broke out. And even James Gunn has put out a comment in regards to this on Twitter, in which he wrote, reading from my source here on The Hollywood Reporter, as it states, "Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go, which we couldn't be more over the moon about. We'll be able to share some exciting information about our first projects at the beginning of the new year. Among those on the slate is Superman. In the initial stages, our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill, but we just had a great meeting with Henry and we're big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future." And I'm just going to go and state this right now, but I will talk about it a little later, that because of this message, there are rumors about the possibility that maybe what James Gunn and Peter Safran are going to do is that instead of bringing back Henry Cavill as Superman, that he will be returning into this brand new DC universe, but as a completely different character. Who specifically? Well, we don't know. Now, as for Henry Cavill, when he had to go and break this news about it, well, let's just say that he wasn't necessarily thrilled about it. In fact, it's safe to say that he was pretty hurt, especially with the fact that this was a role that he had been playing for almost a decade, ever since 2013's Man of Steel. And he even put out a message on Instagram to which I'll read you here directly from his Instagram, as it states. Wait, some people are, hold on a sec. Oh, some people are saying that I have mispronounced his name, apparently. Oh, okay. Oh, apparently there's no N. Okay, Henry Cavill. Is it Cavill? Just wondering, because I know I said Canville, so is it Cavill? Just want to know before I continue. Okay, yes. All right. So Henry Cavill, or is it Cavill? It would be much easier if I would say Cavill. I don't know. Who the fridge knows? But all right. Anyways, yes. Okay. So Henry Cavill states here, I have just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. For those who have been on my side throughout the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists, and the examples he sets for us are still there. My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onward and upward. And that's pretty much the big situation, is that apparently now it looks like the DC universe, or this new DC universe, is going to move on without Henry Cavill's Superman. I'm trying, people. Honestly, like, only now I've learned that you say it as Cavill. So give me some time, okay? Just give me time on that. But yeah, anyways, with Henry, so yeah, apparently that seems to be the big thing, and that seems to be the big controversy. Now, one thing that I just want to state right now is that, honestly, I do understand what James Gunn is trying to do here. And I also understand that what he is doing is not easy. In fact, you probably do remember that Twitter thread that he posted last week, in which he mentioned about the things that are going to happen with the DC universe moving forward, in which you'll be hearing a lot of things that are true, that are maybe true, that are not true, or that they don't know if it's true or not yet. And on top of that, they will indeed be making decisions that not everybody is going to be happy with. And especially with taking this massive responsibility of not just trying to build a brand new cinematic universe, but to build the next 10 years of what this new universe is going to look like. That's going to be a very difficult task. And especially right now, with the current messy state that is happening with the DC universe, with the whole Snyder vision of how this DC universe looks like, it's pretty much a complete disaster. It's an absolute mess. And even the direction of where DC is going with all their movies in general, it just feels confusing with what they're trying to do, what direction that they are taking. It just feels like a property that is absolutely lost when it comes to their movies, especially with the fact that you got some movies that are trying to connect with some kind of extended universe, and then you got a bunch of standalone movies like either Joker or the Batman, or even to a certain extent the Suicide Squad. And from there, you would have to go and make some very tough decisions if you want to go and make a complete reboot with that, which, yes, will include some sacrifices that people actually did enjoy. And I think that's going to be the toughest part moving forward with this brand new universe, is the fact that they got to go and let go of the actors, which are debatably the best part of it. Like, people, like, if there is one thing that people like really did enjoy. What's the most positive thing that came out of the Snyder style universe is the actors that played the superheroes. People really did enjoy the roles of Henry Cavill as Superman, of Ben Affleck as Batman, of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and even some of the other people like Jason Momoa as Aquaman, or Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Like, sadly, or even I would even add Zachary Levi as Shazam. But if you are going to go and move forward, then yes, it's probably for the best that you have to go and recast all these people. That you need a complete new version. Like, you really have to go all or nothing on it. And if you are going to go and replace Henry Cavill as Superman, then you should also go and replace all the other then you should replace all the other actors as well, regardless of how much that they are fan favorites or that they are highly beloved. Like, I know that Jason Momoa is so far the best cinematic version of Aquaman, but it's honestly, if you're going to go and completely reboot everything, then you should also go and completely recast him as well. You know, it's a tough sacrifice, but maybe there are going to be some people who will do as good or maybe even better, or there might be some that might be a little bit of a downgrade. But either way, if you want to have a full reset, you got to have a full reset. You cannot go and keep certain people in, because then it will cause a whole lot of confusion and people thinking that, oh, maybe it's still part of that universe and it's still continuing. And that is actually one of the reasons why the Suicide Squad, or specifically James Gunn's Suicide Squad, turned out to be a flop, because they still kept Margot Robbie. And I honestly forgot. Is it Octavia Spencer or is it Viola Davis that played that other role? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You could go and correct me in the chat wall in terms of that one, but because they kept those actors, some people thought that Viola Davis. Okay, yes, thank you. It is Viola. Okay, yeah, so it is Viola Davis. So they kept Margot Robbie, they kept Viola Davis from that 2016 Suicide Squad and carried them over to the 2021 version, which confused a lot of people, thinking that, oh, maybe this is like some kind of sequel to that Suicide Squad. Maybe it still has some kind of connection to the current DC cinematic universe or something. And it's because, like, you cannot have that. You cannot afford to have that kind of connection. If you want to go and have a reboot, do a full-on reboot. Recast everyone, including those that are major fan favorites. It's a really unfortunate and very tough sacrifice, but it must be done in order to go and have a better and proper cinematic universe. Again, you have to go all or nothing on this. But with that said, though, I do have to state that even though I do understand James Gunn's side of things, I also do understand Henry Cavill's side as well, where this really does suck for him. Like, it is very unfortunate that he's no longer playing Superman, especially with the fact that he himself made a lot of sacrifices just for coming back. Like, you probably remember in October, all the news broke out in regards to that post-credit scene where Henry Cavill. Okay. The fact that Henry Cavill, he came back and like he actually returned playing as Superman, which before we thought it would no longer be a thing, but then suddenly Black Adam came in, and right at the post credit we saw Cavill coming in and telling Dwayne Johnson, "Hey, what's up, man? We need to talk," which made the promise that we are going to see more of him as Superman. And from there, in order to get that position, he had to go and make some sacrifices, including his role in The Witcher, which it was really paying well. Like, it was a very steady job, you know, like he was on a really successful series right there, but he wanted to sacrifice that so that he could spend more time being the Caped Crusader. Or not the Caped Crusader. Would that be Batman? But he wanted to be more like, you know, to be as to play as Superman. You get what I mean. But sadly, this happened, Okay, the nickname is Man of Steel. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha, folks. I'm more, honestly, I'll say now that I am a little more familiar with Marvel than I am with DC. Yeah, I am familiar with a lot of DC elements, but not that much, as you can probably tell. But anyways, with that said, though, my point is, Henry made a lot of sacrifices, and a lot of like very risky sacrifices, and unfortunately it feels like it is all for nothing, that he's pretty much left in the dust, and that the role that he wanted to go and like play, you know, to really like bring new life, to go and give a second chance, like even after going through like going through Man of Steel, going through Dawn of Justice, going through the Justice League movies, that now it looks like that chance is no more, sadly. But I'm not going to go and cry a river for Henry Cavill. I'm not going to say like, oh, well, his career is ruined, like he's no longer going to be an actor, like James Gunn ruined Henry Cavill's life or whatever. He's going to be fine. Keep in mind, like, not like sometime around the news where he was revealed to no longer play as Superman, reports came out that now Henry is going to not only star but executive produce a Warhammer 40K for a Warhammer 40K series for Amazon Prime. So he's going to go and work at Amazon. So honestly, it's safe to say that Henry is going to be fine with his career, but still though, it honestly does suck. And especially with the fact that with Henry, he, you know, the thing is with his portrayal as Superman, you could tell that there was a lot of potential. Like in the movies, you could tell that with the right materials, he would have been a phenomenal Superman, like almost in the level of Christopher Reeve. But sadly, it doesn't look like that would happen. And really, the biggest flaw with his version of Superman is not necessarily Cavill himself, but rather it's because of the materials that he was given. Because let's be honest, say what you like, honestly, when it comes to with Man of Steel, with Dawn of Justice, or with either of the Justice League movies, they're not the best representation of a cinematic Superman. Like, there have been better, honestly. So, and it really is just because of the script that he was given, with the material, with the direction, with that Snyder style vision to Superman. It's not the best idea for the character. And honestly, with the fact that now we're going to have a new movie with James Gunn, that he's going to write a new version of Superman, you know, honestly, it makes me a little more optimistic. Like, James Gunn has already been proven that he can do wonders with superheroes, especially with Guardians of the Galaxy and with the Suicide Squad. And now that he's going to be working on Superman, hopefully he will give the superhero like the justice that he deserves for like a good representation. Like, for us to look at Superman and say, yeah, that is an awesome superhero right there. But sadly, it looks like things are changing. And again, I feel like in this case, I understand where both sides are coming from. I understand for James Gunn, it is a very difficult task that he is trying to do, that he's going to make some extremely tough decisions, and he's going to make some decisions that will cause some backlash by some fanboys on the internet. He knows that he's not going to make people happy with some of the choices that he made, but he knows that it has to be for the greater good in the long run. In order to have a proper DC universe, you have to get rid of everything that both works and what doesn't in the Snyder version of the DC universe in order to create like a full clean slate, which does include getting rid of Henry Cavill. But at the same time, I understand what Henry is going through, because this is a role that is not only extremely iconic, but something that you could tell that he was very passionate about, that he wanted to go and get it right, that he wanted something that the fans can be extremely proud of him for, that he can be that Superman that is as iconic as the Christopher Reeve version. So yeah, it's a difficult, you know, it's a difficult situation, but I feel like honestly, you know, it's tough for everyone, but honestly, with the current state of the DC universe, it has to be done. All right, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, how do you feel about the choice of no longer having Henry Cavill play as Superman now that James Gunn is writing a new Superman movie? Are you excited for this new Gunn version of Superman? Are you more disappointed that Cavill is casted out? Did I do good in pronouncing Henry Cavill, by the way? Let me know what you all think on this. All right, let's see now. I won't say I was a big fan of Henry Cavill's Superman since his movies as the Man of Steel were pretty mid, and yes, that includes Black Adam, but it's a little bittersweet to see him go without being given a proper chance. If I were to give recommendations for a potential recasting, why not an overhaul everything and bring in someone like John Davis Washington or Calvin Ellis? $1 million idea right there. Or to really make things fun, replace him with the Lego Channing Tatum Superman. You know, honestly, like, you joke, but Channing Tatum could be a legitimate contender. But actually, there is one that might sound crazy, but I think could actually be a good idea. John Krasinski. And the reason why is because I think, honestly, his portrayal as Superman in DC League of Super Pets, that was actually pretty good. I actually really liked that Superman. Not only was the character one of the stronger assets of that movie, but also Krasinski's performance is actually very solid. Like, he actually does sound like a pretty credible Superman. I know, again, it sounds like a crazy idea, but honestly, I could see John Krasinski do it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see. I will say that while I'm not that big of a Snyder, not that big on the Snyder films, I am sad that Henry Cavill is having the worst luck this year. First with him being replaced in the new season of The Witcher, and now not being Superman anymore. The sad part is that Cavill still would be a good Superman if he had a good script and let him go all out. On the plus side, he got a role in an upcoming Warhammer show after this. Exactly. Like, it really does suck for him that, like, his biggest opportunities are now gone, but that doesn't mean he no longer has any more opportunities, so he will be fine. Let's see now. Given that Henry Cavill is no longer playing Superman, I blame more Warner Brothers for how they treated Cavill as an actor with little materials he was given, and how the character was written for the now defunct Snyderverse. So if there is a blame on this, it is the studio and writers more so than James Gunn. I don't mind seeing Superman getting recasted as long as he is back to this kind and hopeful superhero that everyone knows and loves from the comics and from the Reeves films. It is a tough choice, though. Yeah, it's not, again, it's not easy for everyone. Oh, well, thank you for the subscription. Glad you do agree with me that it's not an easy choice. Let's see. Here we go. With James hitting the reset button for the DCEU, it's understandable that sacrifices and changes have to be made. And sadly, Cavill has to be one of them. He may not have been the best Superman around, but he was still pretty good at playing the Man of Steel, even though the scripts Warner Brothers provided him weren't that good. I just wish Cavill good luck with making the Warhammer adaptation, and I mean it. Like, Jesus, that series is just huge. Oh yeah, I should know. I'm like a part of it. That's the crazy thing. Like, honestly, it's kind of wild to say, like, yeah, I know. I was at one point part of that Warhammer universe there. I was the big final boss of, like, this dystopian underground punk world of Warhammer. So I know what you're talking about. Welcome to the club, Henry. All right. I'm gonna go and read one more before we move on. No thanks. If I want to watch James Gunn's Superman movie, I'll just watch Brightburn. I love that man, but his irreverent and bombastic sense of storytelling that we've seen in movies like Slither, Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, and of course, Guardians of the Galaxy movies just doesn't fit a Superman movie. That's right up there with letting Tim Burton direct Dumbo in terms of ill-fitting filmmaking decisions. Maybe, but we will have to wait and see when that Superman movie does happen. And with that said, we will be right back with our next story, which I will say, maybe it's not necessarily entertainment related, but it certainly is entertaining with the way that it definitely is one of the craziest stories that we got in this episode. So we will be right back for that. All right, now let's go on to our next story here. And with this one, oh man, this is definitely going to be one of the craziest because, oh, excuse me. Now, if you've been on social media, then you've probably been aware about the madness that is going on with a certain platform. Because this week, I would say it's been the most chaotic so far. And sometimes you would go and say that it's hard to imagine how it could be more chaotic than it already is now, but oh, life always finds a way. It's always filled with surprises, especially with what has happened on Twitter. Oh man, let me tell you folks, now, this week on Twitter, or what happened last week, oh, nut. It's been so crazy that it has me coughing. But no, for real though, what happened on Twitter this week, it has been the most insane. It's like ever since last week when Elon Musk was booed off the stage during the Dave Chappelle comedy show, like that dude has snapped. And it pretty much turned Twitter into a massive wildfire. Because soon afterwards, Elon Musk just became a lot more paranoid. He became a lot more unstable and just trusts no one. Where he realizes the dark reality where it turns out he was hated by the grand majority. And as an absolute Trump-level narcissist, Elon Musk is pretty much living his own nightmare. So much so that he even started banning people left and right. Now, you probably heard about this account called Elon Jet, which is actually an account dedicated to go and track Elon Musk's private jet, to go and tell people that Elon Musk is going into this country, or that Elon Musk at this time is now going to that country. And Elon Musk, despite promising that he wouldn't ban people who would do stuff like that, he would go and immediately ban the person. And not only that, he would even go and ban many other journalists. And we're talking about prominent journalists working on CNN, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and stuff like that. He would go and ban anyone that would ever mention that account or would mention about what he has done. And he would go and label everyone to doxing. He would say that, well, if you support tracking my jet, well, you're just doxing me. You're a doxer. You're all doxing me. And from there, he would go and do one of his usual public polls to make like massive decisions for Twitter. And he asked about, would it be like, do you want me to go and unban all those journalists who have doxed me? Which is the way that he worded it. And as it turns out, unlike the previous times where it worked out in his favor, it looks like it was a week where Vox Populi, Vox Dei was just not on his side, because the majority ruled that, yes, unban all those people. If you want to be a free speech absolutist, then let them have free speech. And, well, luckily he did, or at least most of them. In fact, in this article here on The Verge, it actually went and explained further as to what happened. So reading from my source here on The Verge, it states, this all follows a chaotic week for Twitter that saw the suspension of numerous journalists, including CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan and the New York Times' Ryan Mack, after they tweeted about Elon Jet, a now banned Twitter account that tracked the location of the billionaire's private jet. Musk claimed the journalist doxed his location and later had Twitter implement a policy that bans live location information as well as links to third-party URLs of travel routes. While Musk later reinstated most of the banned accounts after polling users on whether Twitter should lift their suspensions, he briefly suspended the Washington Post reporter Taylor Lawrence for prior doxing action. But it was also revealed, by the way, that when it comes to those people, a lot of reports and a lot of research have actually proven that they didn't do any of that. None of those journalists, not even Elon Jet, actually did legitimate doxing. That doesn't actually count as actual doxing where they have revealed a lot of Elon Musk's private information. So again, this is just another episode of Elon just lying his ass off just for the sake of trying to protect his own public image. That's pretty much it. But then you have yesterday. Oh man, yesterday was just absolutely chaotic, because then Elon decided to go and put up a rule to go and ban linking competitor sites. And what I mean is that Twitter would go and put a ban on any accounts that would go and share links to either Facebook, Instagram, Mastodon, Truth Social, or anything like that. Like, to go and put a full-on ban. Now, I know there are some people that would argue that, well, technically, like, they already put that thing where if you post a link on other social media sites, that post would have a shadow ban. But no, this time around, if you would go and put up a Facebook link or a Linktree link or something like that, you would have a full-on ban. Your account entirely would get completely suspended. Now, this ended up receiving massive backlash, down to the point where even some Elon Musk fanboys were getting pretty upset at him and telling him that, hey, maybe this is not a good idea. But especially with the fact that it has been revealed that doing so is kind of illegal. Like, not only would it break some antitrust laws in the United States, but this is also considered a very illegal move in the European Union. And we already know that Elon Musk has a terrible reputation, or has a really bad relationship with the European Union. And if Europe decides to go and fully ban Twitter from the continent, that is game over. That's when you know that Twitter would be officially dead. And from there, like on that same day, like on the night of the day that they put in that ban on Twitter, they completely lifted it. They decided, you know what, let's not do that, and completely remove that entire policy to ban those people who would put up those kinds of links. So yeah, it's been absolutely chaotic. But then there is the main subject that I want to talk about, and that is in regards to the fact that with Elon Musk, he did, like, during all that, Elon Musk put up a poll in regards to the fact that should he stay? Oh, thank you, Toontastic Juju, for the subscription. Or, oh, it's a gifted subscription even. But with that said, though, Now, Elon went and put up a poll that could loom into another major event that could happen very, very soon. Is Elon Musk going to leave as the Twitter CEO? And he actually did one of his public Twitter polls asking people if he should step down as the CEO of Twitter. And the results are in, and according to the poll, it looks like the answer is yes. Out of 17.5 million people who have voted, 57.5 of them answered yes. And the craziest thing about all this, by the way, like one thing that is very important to note is that ever since yesterday, ever since that moment, you go to Elon Musk's account, and from there, it doesn't look like he's been really responding much. He hasn't really said anything. So far, he shared something related to Starlink. Apparently, he retweeted something related to the Twitter files, but he himself did not post anything. Like, he did not make a tweet or anything like that. The last one that he has done, as I am recording this, was 20 hours ago, where he said, "Those who want power are the ones who least deserve it." Ironic from the man who owns Twitter. But this is very much a very interesting turn of events. This is a very interesting update. And I'll say now that we don't necessarily have an update in regards to what is currently happening with Elon Musk. There is no announcement as of yet, or I don't know, if there is a report about it, you could go and respond to this right now. But so far, we have no answer in regards if Elon Musk is actually going to move forward with the resignation, if he is going to step down as the Twitter CEO. But as you could tell, everything about this is just insane. Everything about it just feels absolutely crazy. In just this 1 week alone, just all the different days that we have seen just Elon Musk becoming so unstable and making all these crazy impulse decisions that really do contradict with the promise that he wanted to make about, oh, free speech for everyone. I'm going to be unbiased or whatever. And the whole thing, like everything that he's been handling, it's just been an absolute mess. Even with the whole thing about banning journalists and stuff like that, as much as he would say like doxing is bad, like, yeah, I do agree. Doxing is something that no one should go and ever do. And yet he would still let doxing to go and completely flourish on his platform. There have been other people who would do those kinds of doxings in regards to other people, especially in terms of journalists. Like, journalists would frequently be doxxed very recently on Twitter, and yet Elon Musk would do absolutely nothing. He wants to be the one that has the privilege of, please don't dox me, but it's fine if you dox others that I don't like. He's pretty much moving forward with that kind of attitude. So, of course, we already have that element of hypocrisy that's just been doing damage. And then we got yesterday, which we saw that impulse crazy decision of not allowed sharing links. And from that aspect, I feel like, honestly, that is a clear sign that that he knows that Twitter is dying. If you're at the point that you have to threaten people with a ban not to go to the other competitors, or not even to go bring up other competitors, then that just means that you are desperate. That's when you know that you're at the point where the platform is just at the brink of just shutting down entirely, or even at the point of just bankruptcy, where you want to make sure people don't get distracted and end up finding themselves in another social media platform where they would go and spend their time there. Like, that would be the equivalent of, like, if you have, like, one YouTuber that would go and say, if you go and watch all these, if you watch other YouTubers that are similar to mine, then I'm gonna ban you. It's like if I would go and say, like, I'm the only cartoon reviewer you should go and watch. If you go and mention about other cartoon reviewers such as Saberspark or Shafrilla or Alpha J, then I'm gonna put a ban on you. Then you're not allowed to go and watch my videos or watch any or go follow me on any of my social media platforms. How stupid and desperate would that sound? That is exactly what Elon Musk went and pulled on his social media site. It really is that ridiculous. And really with that impulse and really with the way that like he handled it, the fact that he would go and put this insane policy on and on that same day completely remove it, it really shows the complete incompetence that Elon Musk has as a leader. And now we are pretty much at the point where now his future with Twitter, or at least as the CEO of Twitter, is now in question. Now we know that the majority has ruled that most people don't want Elon Musk to be the CEO, or at least that is in terms of what the polls have shown. Now, is he going to move forward with this? That I don't know. But honestly, it really does show that, like, at least like with the fact that he does bring that up, it sounds like it is very likely that Elon Musk is going to step down, that regardless of that poll or not, he is going to step down and find someone else to be the new CEO of Twitter. And especially with nowadays, especially with today, that he's been very quiet and all he did was just retweets. Like, we're seeing some very unnatural behavior from Elon Musk, or at least unnatural by Elon's own standards. Now, with that said, though, I'm sure some people might ask, if Elon Musk steps down as the CEO and he would replace that position with another person, would that mean Twitter would be saved? Would that mean Twitter is going to get much better from there? Honestly, no. Because the damage that Elon Musk has done is like beyond repair. It is so broken that right now it's inevitable that the website is shutting down. And even in his account, like even the behavior that he was excuse me, but even some of the behavior that he was presenting, like even replying to some people, he would just go and like tell people that, yeah, it's not gonna work out. It's better to just like keep your distance out it. You know, like he would even mention, like one person would say like, no, like he even responded to someone saying, no one wants the job who can actually keep Twitter alive. There is no successor. And then there's like another one, like he even said, you must like someone suggested, hey, can I have the job? He even said, you must like pain a lot. One catch, you have to invest your life savings on Twitter, and it's been in the fast lane to bankruptcy since May. Still want the job? Like, he's pretty much giving up on Twitter, and now he's pretty much saying, yeah, the website is shutting down. It is indeed going to die. So he's pretty much at the point where he just accepts it. And the only reason why he would go and step down is because he wants to go and save his other company, Tesla. Because while he was on Twitter making all these stupid decisions and making all these controversial remarks and stuff like that, like Tesla, the stock numbers are just going down and down and down to the point that it is at an all-time low. As I'm recording this, I believe right now it is under $150 per share. Which you gotta keep in mind, like before Elon Musk stepped in, like it was like not high, but it was definitely higher than it was now. It was like over like around $230 or $220 just before Elon Musk officially owned Twitter. But then when he moved to that company, those numbers just went down and down and down to the point that the investors were just freaking out, and they were begging him to quit Twitter, just begging him to delete his social media account, to delete his Twitter account, to stop tweeting, stop having these political biases, to go and do whatever they can to save Tesla. Because if Elon Musk would stay on Twitter and keep doing his shenanigans, then honestly, he would lose both companies. Not only would Twitter shut down, but also Tesla would shut down. And from there, Elon would have to go and make a choice that his best idea would be to go and salvage at least one of them. And if there is one company that is more likely to be saved, it would be Tesla. And at that point, not only would he step down to go and save Tesla, but also it's to go and save face. It's to go and like it's to go and not be fully responsible for the destruction of Twitter, because when that time comes when Twitter will be completely shut down, will be completely bankrupt, and the social media would be dead, then Elon would not take all the responsibility. He would be on his high horse and he would be all egotistical to say that, well, I'm not the reason why the site shut down, despite the fact that, like, he's the one that caused the entire mess that pretty much fast-tracked the company to go and shut down. But regardless, that would be the big reason why. And that's currently the state that we are in with Tesla. It's just been so ridiculous, and it's just been so chaotic with all these impulse and crazy decisions that every day is like a significant update as to what is happening, or like one step closer to death's door with Twitter. Like, everything is just so chaotic that you never know what's going to happen the next day. And like, even today, it is very unnatural to see Elon Musk just being very quiet, just not saying everything, just not saying anything, especially when we do have the poll in which we saw the results that Elon Musk is no longer going to be the CEO of Twitter. And now he has to go and try to find someone else who's going to take the blame of the entire shutdown of Twitter, and will probably face a lot of backlash from his own fan base. So that's pretty much the current state that we are in. So every day we're just seeing this madness happen again and again and again. And who knows what's going to happen this week? Who knows if Twitter is even going to survive Christmas? Like, really, it's just that insane right now. And I just got to bring it up because of the sheer insanity of what's been happening. Like, who knows? Maybe by the time this shows up on YouTube, maybe there is going to be another big update in regards to what's happening on Twitter. Who the fridge knows? But I just need to go and talk about this. I just need to go and like clear my thoughts about the situation, because really it's just been that insane. All right, so with that said, I want to pass this on to the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, how do you feel about the entire Twitter situation? How do you feel about this entire piece of madness that's just been going on? And especially if you are a Twitter user, how do you feel about the current state of Twitter? And how do you feel about the current state of Elon Musk's position? Let me know what you think. Let's see. If Elon Musk were to step down at the same time today when the podcast is over, then we shall celebrate right now and party like it's New Year's. For real though, Elon Musk is an unstable man that can't run a company like Twitter as a stable company, and it's keep getting worse. Hope we know more about this and see if Twitter will be gone for good. But also, there is another thing that I do want to state. One thing you have to keep in mind: even if Elon Musk steps down as the CEO, he technically still owns Twitter. Like, he still owns the company. The only way that we would know that Elon Musk is no longer associated with Twitter would be if he would go and sell the company entirely, which at that point would be an automatic L for him. And it's guaranteed that he has lost billions upon billions of dollars, because I think right now we could say it's a fact that his $44 billion investment has disappeared. Like, he ain't getting that back. Like, if he would, it would only be a small fraction of it. Let's see. As the days go by, Elon Musk is getting more and more cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Ever since he bought Twitter, his paranoia has been increasing to insane levels. And all that he has been doing seems to just be him desperately trying to get attention and grasping even a tiny bit of control. At this point, Twitter is just going to be cinders when Musk finally abandons it. The big question for me now is, can Twitter even be saved at this point? I wish I could say yes, but honestly, no. Twitter is doomed. Like, like really, with all the damage, like, you got to keep in mind of so many factors and all the damage that Elon Musk has done. Like, the trust and safety department is basically non-existent at this point. There's only a fraction of employees that are currently working at Twitter. there is no moderation whatsoever to go and try to limit hate speech on the platform. He's not paying any of the bills for the offices. And I think that's another major significant factor to go and mention. Like, one of his cost saving moves is just to go and not pay the bills for any of the offices like around the globe. So that's another problematic factor. And marketers, like advertisers, are just leaving left and right. And the damage on the finances of Twitter is starting to go and really show. It's at a point where really, if there is a way to go and fix it, it wouldn't take, it would take months and months and months. Like, it's at the point where it doesn't have enough time to be saved. Like, right now, Twitter's position is terminal. Like, as maybe there are ways that it can be saved, but honestly, it would be too late by the time that they can. Like, it really is at the point where, like, shutting it all down is going to be the fastest solution for it, just to put it out of its misery. Once again, Elon Musk shot himself right in the foot. Seriously, I think at this point, I think Musk would be better off just stepping down as the CEO of Twitter, because the longer he stays, the more damage he's going to do to Twitter. And then you also have these anti-woke Elon Musk fanboys sucking Musk's butt to try to defend his stupid decision. So he's really got to go. Oh yeah, it is absolutely insane to see how there are people who are so desperate to maintain that image that Elon Musk is somehow a super genius, that literally everything he does is always 10 steps forward ahead of everyone else. Even if there's a decision that no one else understands why he would do, just like the entire ban of other social media platforms, he, like, somehow it's like it's all part of this big massive plan, like as if he's playing some 5D chess piece. It's ridiculous. There's like, honestly, it's safe to say that Elon Musk is objectively a stupid person, and the only person who is stupider than Elon Musk is those people who unironically think that he is smart. Let's see. Honestly, it's like Elon was trying to kill Twitter on purpose. From the suspension spree to the dumb as hell rules, honestly, if he did step down, I wouldn't complain. In fact, I'd be a very happy camper. Heck, if you ask me who should replace him as CEO, I'd be down for any rational or sane person to take the role. Hell, not even that. A piece of asparagus would be better than him. In fact, not even that. I would be a better CEO. Are you sure you want that kind of responsibility? Oh my god. Honestly, when you mentioned the asparagus, I'm thinking of the character from VeggieTales. Like, he would be the new CEO, like just stepping in. All right, everyone. Now there are going to be some different rules ahead that we have over here. Now, first rule, we do need to go and thank God for the fact that we have this application in the first place. But yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. For the sake of my mental health, I'm honestly excited for the downfall of Twitter. Like, honestly, yeah. Like, as very beneficial as that social media platform is for many different things, including my business, I know that I will be in a much happier mental health state if the platform would just die out, honestly. All right, I'm gonna read one more comment before we go and move on to the next story. I honestly don't regret leaving Twitter ever since Musk bought it. That moment when he arrived with a sink, that was a clear sign that he would hard bleach that company. Massive layoffs, complete random reprogramming of the social network, waves of bans from every and all kinds of reasons, shutting down for some features entirety. It's way due time to abdicate from your fragile throne, Musk. You can't sit on every CEO chair at once, you know? Yeah, it's just been completely insane, and only time will tell to know when Twitter is going to officially shut down. Who the fridge knows? Hey, maybe, hey, you never know. Maybe one day, maybe just after this podcast, we will see another significant update, or maybe Twitter would be down. Who the fridge knows? All right, so we will be right back with our next story, and we're going to go and flip it to a bit more positive, where we will be honoring a bunch of movies that have made it to a legendary status. So we will be right back. And welcome back. Now, when it comes to our next story, we have an annual thing that would go and happen. A moment when movies would go and get the highest honor that it can ever get. Debatably even more so than the Oscars. And what I am talking about is the National Film Registry from the Library of Congress. If your movie is added to that registry, that means your movie has made it to a legendary status. That means that the government views that film as something that is worth keeping and worth preserving because it has such a significance in our culture, not just in the United States, but also around the world. And this year, we got a whole bunch of very interesting choices. Yes, to go and give you a little bit of a refresher, especially for what they have done this year, the Library of Congress has added 25 movies onto the National Film Registry, and this is something that they would do every year. So, reading directly from my source on Deadline, it states, selected for their cultural, historic, or aesthetic importance to preserve the nation's film heritage, the latest group includes a diversity of American filmmakers, as well as landmark works in key genres. There are at least 15 films directed or co-directed by filmmakers of color, women, or LGBTQ+ helmers. The selections bring the number of films in the registry to 850. And there are some that, like, maybe it's the first time you have heard of it, but there are also others that are very well known. And this year, the movies that have been added to the National Film Registry are Mardi Gras Carnival from 1898, Cab Calloway Home Movies from 1948 to 1951, 1950 Cyrano de Bergerac, Charades, Scorpio Rising, Behind Every Good Man, Titicus Follies, Mingus, Manzanar. I think that's how you say it, Manzanar. Okay. Betty Tells Her Story, Superfly, Attica, 1976 Carrie, Union Maids, Word Is Out, Stories of Our Lives, Bush Mama, The Ballad of Gregorio Cortez, Itam Hakim Hapit, 1988's Hairspray, 1989's The Little Mermaid, Tongues United, When Harry Met Sally, House Party, Iron Man, and Pariah. So as you can tell, already there are a few names that actually do stand out that many people, of course, are very familiar with. And there are definitely some interesting choices, I must say. Like, we do see Cab Calloway's home movies, especially with, if you guys are familiar with Cab Calloway, or if you don't know who he is, Cab Calloway is very beloved and like one of the top musicians back in the 1930s and the 1940s. In fact, one of the first prominent African-American stars, actually, one of the first prominent African-American celebrities. And he's the one that you probably have heard Minnie the song Minnie the Moocher, or if you've watched a lot of classic Fleischer cartoons, a lot of the jazz songs that they would play comes from Cab Calloway, the one that would go and like he would like you would see him do like these smooth dances. Hidey, hidey, hidey ho, hidey, hidey, hidey ho. So interesting that we see like his home movies and see like his personal life, and like now we see that much of a significance to see like the life of Cab Calloway outside of the stage. So that's cool to see added in. And then another one that stands out for me is Carrie, which I think it's safe to say is a very significant a very significant feature, especially with the fact that the 1976 version is the first ever movie that was adapted from a Stephen King novel, because we're pretty much at the point where movies based on Stephen King books have become its own genre, and Carrie is the one that went and started it all. And even from there, it went on to be one of the most popular and one of the most prominent that still scares people to this day. So that is one that I do understand why it would be included on this list. And then another one that is a lot of fun to see, Hairspray, the original 1988 version. And if you are familiar with movies, or if you have studied film, then chances are you are familiar with the name of John Waters. And John Waters is, I think it's safe to say, he is a very fascinating filmmaker. If you don't believe me, then look up Pink Flamingos and you'll know what I mean. And seeing his version of Hairspray to be included, it's understandable, especially with how Hairspray has now become a major phenomenon, where not only did it turn into a big name Broadway show, but it also turned into the 2007 movie with John Travolta and Christopher Walken. So from there, yes, Hairspray did definitely have a lot of significance. So I could see the inclusion of that, especially from a highly prolific and very prominent filmmaker like John Waters. And then another classic one you got is When Harry Met Sally, the comedy drama with Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal. It's one of those well-known romance films that has been quoted, and that it has been reenacted, or at least like parodied or be referenced again and again and again. So with that level of significance, that level of being that widely known, and I do believe it's because of When Harry Met Sally. It's like, it just popped up in my head. Yeah, that's the movie where they say, I'll have what I'm having, what she's having. So already with that line alone, of course it's gonna go and have some major significance in our culture. So yeah, of course that would be included. But I think it's safe to say one of the biggest movies that stood out from the entire list is Iron Man. And I think Iron Man is one of those films that it's safe to say that it is about time that the movie is added to the National Film Registry, because right now, one of the biggest franchises of all time is Marvel, specifically the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So of course, it would make sense that you go and add the one that started it all, the Marvel version of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the one that initiated this entire cinematic universe and would go on to have like this epic legacy that is still going on to this day. So that is exciting to see. And yeah, it definitely does deserve it, especially when, at least in my opinion, I actually do feel like it is undeniably one of the better phase one movies of the MCU. Or I would say, like, it for me, at least, it is a tie with the first Thor movie, where it is like among the best of phase one. And seeing it right over here being added to the National Film Registry, yes, it does make sense. Like, it really is that much of a movie that is worth having that much of a legacy, because yeah, I think it's safe to say the cultural impact that it left us, it is massively huge. In fact, the way that it impacted Robert Downey Jr.'s image, like, yeah, that is massively big as well. But like with how it began the MCU, yeah, it deserves to be on this list. But then there is the big one. The one that I really want to go and talk about is the one animated inclusion, which is Disney's 1989 classic, The Little Mermaid. Now, some people can go and say that maybe there is a little bit of a cross promotion, because of course, considering that we are going to get the live action remake next year, of course they want to give some recognition to the first Little Mermaid, or to the Disney version of the Little Mermaid. But honestly, just like with Iron Man, I feel like the inclusion of the Little Mermaid is one of those where I feel like, yeah, it's about time that they would go and include that. Especially with the fact that this is the movie that started what we know today as the Disney Renaissance. But it's honestly much more than that. It's not just the fact that it's the one that really initiated the Disney Renaissance. It's the movie that pretty much proved that Disney still has that magic after the passing of Walt Disney. Because if you do know, if you remember your Disney history, after Walt Disney's death, Disney has struggled to get back on top, to really get back in that position where they can confidently move forward. Like it was really bad, not just for their animated films, but for the entire country, for the entire company, to the point that they were threatened to be completely sold off. That there was someone that would go and completely buy off Disney, divide their divisions, and just sell it off to other companies. But then came the massive reboot of the entire company, where they would go and bring in someone for the first time, bring in someone outside of the company, bringing in Michael Eisner, to which he would go and bring in his second in command, Jeffrey Katzenberg. And at Disney Animation, they would try to go and really fix things up, where they would go and like prove to people that they still have that magic like they did back in Walt's age with Snow White, with Fantasia, with Sleeping Beauty, with Cinderella, and all those films. And when they did go back to fairy tales with The Little Mermaid, that's the one that initiated everything. And it's not just because of like Disney, not just because of Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg, but also because they had the perfect team working on it. The incredible animators that have worked in there, the directing duo of Ron Clements and John Musker. Even though they've already directed before with The Great Mouse Detective, this is the one where they really directed a legitimate Disney movie. And then, of course, you have, and then of course, like you also got the cast with people like Pat Carroll and Jodie Benson. And then you have the songwriters. And debatably more than anyone else, maybe even more than Michael Eisner, more than Jeffrey Katzenberg, more than Ron Clements, and more than John Musker, the songwriters were the ones who really brought that Disney magic back. Specifically, Alan Menken and Howard Ashman. Like, honestly, say what you will about the Little Mermaid, love it or hate it, the best thing about the movie, it's the songs. To this day, they are some of the most memorable in any other Disney movie. Rather it be Part of Your World, Under the Sea, Poor Unfortunate Soul, Kiss the Girl, and many more. These are some of the most legendary Disney songs out there, and it is thanks to that songwriting duo capable of making The Little Mermaid into the true Disney classic that we know it today. And especially how it gave Disney that confidence boost that they can go and do that Disney animation magic again. And they were able to go and continue that legacy with movies such as Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, and so much more. It is that boost that they needed to not only save Disney animation, but the entirety of the Walt Disney Company. And I would even go as far and say even animation itself. It's thanks to The Little Mermaid and Roger Rabbit where suddenly people got really interested in cartoons and animation again. Where finally the medium got back onto the main stage, and now watching animated movies became popular and fun again. So in regards to how The Little Mermaid played a significant role in saving the medium in the modern age, yes, it definitely deserves a spot on the National Film Registry. Like, I think some of the other movies from the Disney Renaissance are already there. I believe like Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King are already a part of the National Film Registry. So of course, why not also add The Little Mermaid? And if they haven't yet, why not also include Aladdin? They might as well go and do that too. So yeah, honestly, with that entire list, honestly, I feel happy with it. You know, you got some interesting, you got some interesting discoveries in here, but also a lot of movies that have proven that they deserve to have this spot, that they deserve to be known as a legendary picture that has made a significant impact in our culture. So honestly, congratulations to all these movies to be added to the National Film Registry. And we'll see what happens next year on what the next list is going to be. All right, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to go and ask you all, how do you feel about these new additions to the National Film Registry? And also, which ones would you say is your favorite? Let me know what you think on that. All right, let's see now. The Little Mermaid being part of the Library of Congress is definitely one of the biggest deals ever. The film was the reason why Disney Animation is still here. This is why we have more amazing films in the Disney Animation canon. It's definitely about time we got this film in. Animation is something more than just film. It's an art form that we need to keep and preserve for generations to come. Hopefully Frozen will be in there one day. Oh, I'm sure it will. I think there's no denying. Like it's like it's one of those that it will inevitably happen that we will see Frozen 2. Well, we will see Frozen as well. I mean, I don't literally mean that we're gonna put Frozen 2 on the list, but for the first Frozen, yeah, definitely. It will be. The thing is that considering that there is that a movie has to be 10 years or older to be included, at least next year it will start becoming eligible. And when that time comes, I don't know. I'm not expecting that it will immediately, but I know eventually Frozen will be in there. Let's see. While the Little Mermaid is a revolutionary movie that deserves a spot, what really intrigues me is Iron Man. While I probably would have put Black Panther in that spot, I'm still glad that it got among the top guns. As for what I added, what I want to add next year, while I could just recommend B-movie again, I decided that this year another movie needs to be recognized. Free Birds. I mean, it's the movie where they go back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get turkeys off the menu. That's right. We are going to get rid of we are going back in time to the first Thanksgiving to get rid of turkeys off the menu. Oh man. Honestly, I can confidently say that I saw that on the big screen. Who else would go and say that they had that mighty privilege? Well, let's see. I'm happy to see Carrie, Hairspray, When Harry Met Sally, Iron Man, and The Little Mermaid made it onto that list. And those are the type of movies that deserve to be on that list. I'm disappointed that 2002 Spider-Man didn't make it to that list, given that it is its 20th anniversary. Helped the creation of modern blockbuster superhero films as they are today, and one of the key reasons that led to the MCU existing, starting with Iron Man. Happy with the list overall. Oh yeah, keep in mind that there are still tons and tons and tons of movies that deserve to be in there, but they haven't yet. So I'm sure eventually the 2002 Sam Raimi film will eventually be there, but again, it's only a matter of time as to when. Let's see what else we got here. This is definitely a great list of films being added into the National Film Registry. Personally, the ones that really stand out for me are The Little Mermaid because of how it revived Disney in the 1990s and started the Disney Renaissance, and Iron Man because of how it was the film that kicked off the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As for movies that could be added in the future, I would love to see The Incredibles be added into the future. That is an interesting, honestly, that is an interesting choice. I can honestly see plenty of the Pixar movies, especially from the 2000s, that could be included. So yeah, honestly, maybe I think like recently WALL-E was added into there. So honestly, I can imagine that maybe we will see The Incredibles too. Or again, that we will see The Incredibles as well. Oh boy, honestly, with these sequels, I need to go and really clarify. All right, what else do we got here? Big congratulations to the movies that are preserved for future generations, especially The Little Mermaid. That one is my favorite because of the impact and legacy that it has. The songs, the characters, everything, it's unforgettable. Without The Little Mermaid, Disney Animation wouldn't be around anymore today. Didn't got much to say, so big congrats to those movies being part of the National Film Registry. All right, I think I'll read one more until we move on to the next. Oh, let's see. This is a momentous occasion. Disney, Marvel, and the animation medium as a whole. Ariel and Tony Stark will forever be some of Disney's greatest heroes, both in film and in real life. Also, if I may digress, your Archibald asparagus impression was impeccable, but it is clear you know next to nothing about VeggieTales. Yeah, I know. I'm not the I know that, like, I don't have that much knowledge on VeggieTales, and I'll say it right now. If necessary, I would be down to do like a re-review of Jonah, if necessary, honestly. Like, I would be down to go and revisit, you know, to give VeggieTales a second chance, because honestly, with that Jonah review, yeah, it wasn't all that great, and it was not fair the way that I treated that movie. So honestly, yeah, I would, like, maybe I would go and give it a second chance. But honestly, hey, thanks for the compliment on the impression. Honestly, I didn't know that I really got it that correct. All right, so we have one more story to go, and it is debatably the biggest animation news of the week. So tune in, and we will talk about the retirement of a great legend. And so, we are going to cap off this episode with the one and only grand finale. And for this finale, we got an animation news that is so big that honestly, with the updates that it has been getting, I've actually been hearing this in mainstream media. Like, no joke, some prominent news places, like even like on my local radio station or even in my local news station, they would legitimately go and talk about the significant events that have actually happened here. And for this time, however, it looks like we are going to witness the end of an era. Even though we're starting a brand new year, we are going to end off the story of one of the most popular characters in all of anime. And who I'm talking about specifically is Ash Ketchum. Yes, it has been confirmed that the next Pokemon series will be the last for the longtime protagonist of the anime, Ash Ketchum. Now, it's been over 25 years that Pokemon has been following the story of Ash Ketchum and his beloved partner Pikachu, where they would go and travel all across the different lands in which they would go and catch numerous of different Pokemon across many different generations, as he would go on his long-running journey to go and be the Pokemon Master, to be the very best that no one ever was. And it was actually just a few months ago that he finally managed to achieve it, where many mainstream news would actually go and report that Ash Ketchum has finally become a Pokemon Master by defeating the Galar champion Leon in order to become the world champion Pokemon Master. He has finally achieved that goal. He has finally made it and became the Pokemon Master. And to go and read you from my source here, to go more into what they are going to do or what they are going to plan for the final episodes with Ash Ketchum, it states here, reading from my source on Entertainment Weekly, by the way, a new Pokemon trailer released Friday revealed that Pokemon Ultimate Journeys, the series, concludes with 11 episodes in early 2023 that will eventually bid farewell to Ash and Pikachu. Having finally achieved his goals, Ash's final installment will check in with his old friends like Misty as viewers get a glimpse of what the future holds for Ash and Pikachu. So basically, it's going to be the grand finale of Ash Ketchum, where he's going to be reconnecting with many of his old friends. And there was even a teaser poster that was almost like a recreation of the first Pokemon anime poster, where it pretty much confirmed that we will see Ash reunite with characters such as Misty and Brock and Professor Oak, along with all the different Pokemon that he has collected throughout the years. Even like some of the first ones that we have met, like his stubborn Charizard, or the sunglasses wearing Squirtle, or the timid little Bulbasaur, or his giant herd of Tauros, or even the Muck, who is a little too attached to Professor Oak, and many more. Like, we are going to be reunited with those Pokemon. But the question is, though, now that Ash will no longer be the star of the Pokemon anime, then who will? Well, at the same time, even though they didn't mention any specifics as to what's going to be going on, they did confirm that there will be a brand new Pokemon anime, which will have a brand new cast. And in this one in particular, this is actually going to be a new Pokemon series. They have yet to describe what it is. We don't know who the characters are. We don't know we don't know what the plot is going to be or whatever. But what we do know is that this new series is going to be inspired by the latest Pokemon game, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet. And as you can see from the image here, actually, let's have a clearer image. It does feature many of the main, like the starter Pokemon of Scarlet and Violet. Like, you got Sprigatito, you got Fuecoco, and you got Quaxly. But as for the two leads that we got over here, the boy and the girl, we apparently we do have their names, in which they are called Liko and Roy. But that's all that we do know. We don't have any confirmation about regarding when this series is going to be coming out. We don't know any more about like what the series is going to be or anything like that. All we do know is that this is going to be the next series after Ash's final adventures in Pokemon Ultimate Journeys, which it will be starting, I do believe, in January 13th in Japan, and then it will eventually follow forward onto North America and around the world. But that's pretty much the big thing, is that Ash Ketchum will finally be having his final episodes after more than 25 years. After he made his big debut back in 1997, he is finally going to conclude his journey. And I'm just going to tell you right now, for me, this is honestly a pretty shocking news to hear, but also it's kind of bittersweet for me, I gotta say. Like, I've already mentioned this many times before in my videos, but I am a lifelong Pokemon fan, and one of the first animes that I've devoted myself to watching is actually Pokemon. You know, like, not only I played the game so many times, not only did I collect the cards, did I collect the figures, but I also watched the anime. And I've stuck around for like a good while. I wouldn't say that I've stuck around for like the longest time. I guess like I've stayed during like the entire, maybe not the entirety, but at least for most of the 4Kids period. From the very beginnings, from like the very first episodes, all the way to, I would say, the third generation. Like when they were in Hoenn, but then after, when they go into the fourth generation, I think I kind of stopped from there. I kind of moved on from it. Like, I stuck around maybe for like the movies. I stopped at Lucario, which is honestly I find to be one of the better Pokemon movies out there. But other than that, though, it's honestly. Like, I didn't stay there for long. Like, I didn't stay throughout the majority of the Pokemon anime, but I remember I was there from the very beginning. So yeah, I definitely got myself familiar with Ash Ketchum, with Pikachu, and his many friends along the way, like Misty, Brock, that weird period where we had Tracy, and then we also had May and her little brother, I believe it's Max. And by the way, yes, I did watch the English dub of it, just letting you know. So yeah, I followed Ash's adventures for the longest time, and now hearing that they are finally going to go and retire the character, it's like kind of shocking, honestly. Like, you know, it's one of those things that you thought would never end, and especially in this day and age where we have a lot of animated shows that would keep going on and on and on and on, and like things would remain the same, rather it be like with South Park or with The Simpsons, or even with SpongeBob and stuff like that, where, you know, it's always the same old song and dance over the years, but with like a little bit of different flavors here and there. But with Pokemon, like I was thinking like maybe they're going to do the same thing, because yeah, they'll constantly switch all the different, all the different supporting characters, but you always have the same formula of Ash and Pikachu. And sometimes you would get like the interruptions of Team Rocket with Jesse, James, and Meowth and their little ragtag team of Pokemon. But now hearing that they are finally going to end, it feels like there's a part of my childhood that has also come to a conclusion. That, you know, like, for the longest time, you keep hearing about Ash being the very best and wanting to be a Pokemon master. And that, like, even though I've grown up to become an adult, Ash is still a 10-year-old throughout this entire time. That, that's still been going on for like so long, that he's been 10 longer than any 10-year-old has ever been. But, from there, like, you'd think that this would just keep going on. Like, as you live through life, Ash would still go on his pursuit of becoming a Pokemon master, but now he's done it. He actually achieved his goal. He became a Pokemon master, and now that's it. It's done. Even though I personally haven't watched Pokemon in years, hearing that now it's over, that, Ash has he has concluded his mission. He finally did it. It's kind of sad to hear that, like, that's no longer going to happen. That if I want to go and return to Pokemon, it won't be with Ash and Pikachu anymore. Like, things are going to be a lot more different than how it was when I grew up. And that's always going to be a moment that is always going to be hurtful, that when you do return to something and it's not going to be like how it is back when you grew up, and when it is something that gave you like so many of these fond memories. Like, there is a part that will undeniably be sad. And I think, yeah, for me, it is going to be a little bit sad that a part of my childhood has finally gotten a conclusion, that that story about being a Pokemon master has officially been done. But then again, I will say that if Ash's story arc has to end, then it's great to hear that it will end off on a high note. That, like, he finally did it. That throughout, like, across the 25 years of his entire journey, he is finally able to succeed at becoming a Pokemon master. And if you're going to go and end off his story, then why not go and end off where he did it? He finally found his, he finally achieved his goal. Now the rest is just going to be a little bit of an epilogue where we see him, like, being happy with his life. And I feel like at this point, it kind of does remind me of one memorable quote from Tangled, where now that he has achieved his dream, the next step is to go and find another dream. And well, that maybe that's not necessarily a story that we would need to hear, but that life is going to go well for Ash from here on out. Like, we saw his big, glorious moment, which a lot of news reports have actually come out about it. So now, like, he can enjoy life being the Pokemon master. There's no more journeys that he has to go through. He doesn't have to go and, like, be trolled by Team Rocket or whatever. He can finally go and relax, be happy with his Pokemon, and just live with his live his life. That, yeah, we may never see him again, but at least we know that he's going to be okay and be reunited with many of his old Pokemon. And there's also another thing that I do need to mention is that considering that he will be reunited with many of his old Pokemon, there is also going to be some moments that already, just from some previews, people are already shedding a tear, especially when it comes to one specific reunion. And I actually do have a picture. It's this one. Now, if you've been a long-time Pokemon fan, you know exactly who these two are. And yes, in the conclusion, Ash will be reunited with his Butterfree. You probably remember way early in you probably remember way early in the very beginnings of the Pokemon anime, one of the saddest episodes that many fans do remember is when Ash had to say goodbye to his Butterfree. That Butterfree fell in love with this pink girl Butterfree, and he has to go and make the very tough decision of either living his new life with his girlfriend or to stay in Ash's adventures, which he ultimately decided to go with his girl, which is ultimately for the best. But it was such a heartbreaking goodbye seeing Butterfree leaving Ash, and it's a moment that has like brought many Pokemon fans to tears. Like, I know many of my friends have cried during that episode, and now we see this moment where Butterfree and his girlfriend has come back and reunited with Ash. It's like, oh my god, it's like the feels right there. Oh my god, it's like, this is a moment where it feels like it's something that gives a conclusion to many people's childhood that they never knew they had. Like, they never knew that this would actually happen, but now that it did, it's like, it feels so satisfying. It feels great. This is the thing that, honestly, this picture alone makes it feel like it's okay to conclude Ash's story arc. This is the thing that says, yes, Ash is going to be okay from here on out, especially when he is coming back to many of his old friends, including Butterfree. Like, this moment right here is just so, it's so beautiful already. And oh my god, and this is just a picture. And this is just a picture from like a quick little 8-second clip. Oh my god, I cannot imagine how it's going to be when the anime does come out and we actually do have this moment. Like, oh my god, it's gonna be it's gonna be a moment. Like, I'm not gonna shed a tear. I'm gonna be freaking bawling. Like, I already feel like I'm in the verge of tears just looking at this picture, because I know what I went through. Maybe you haven't, but I did. I remember watching this episode when it originally aired on TV. So, oh my god, it's gonna be it's gonna be a moment. That is for sure. But overall, though, honestly, this is, hold on a sec. This is a moment where I feel like, yeah, again, it is bittersweet. As sad as it is that we are going to see Ash go, and as sad as it is that we won't see like the long-time beloved partnership of Pikachu, honestly, I feel like it's gonna end off on, I'm glad to see that it will end off on a very happy note. And especially, I can understand how big of an impact that this is, because you got to keep in mind, Ash Ketchum is one of the most popular anime characters in the world. Like, he's one of those anime characters that even people who have never watched anime, they can easily go and recognize. Like, he is up there with Goku, with Sailor Moon, and with Luffy in terms of like one of the most recognizable and the most popular ones. And seeing him leave, like, yeah, it's, it's unfortunate, but you know what? It's for the best. He's reunited with many of his old Pokemon. He has achieved his lifelong dream of becoming a Pokemon master. We might as well go and end off on a high note like that. And as for how the series is going to be in the future with the next generation, with I almost wanted to say Loki, but I know that's not right. With Liko and Roy, with how this series is going to go, I mean, I'm not expecting them to go and be the immediately become the next Ash Ketchum, but hey, it's nice to see that there's going to be another generation that will carry the legacy of Pokemon. I mean, especially with how these with this genre of anime that they would go and often switch their protagonists, you know, like in like Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, where it's not always Yugi-Moto. Like sometimes they would go and change it to Jaden and then change it to Yusei and so on and so forth. So maybe with these new characters, like maybe they could offer something new to the table that the series never had. Maybe they can go and add an interesting twist to it, especially now that it is based more on Scarlet and Violet, and that we're gonna have the Pokemon in Paldea. So we'll ultimately see how things will go from there. All right, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall now, and I would like to ask you, how do you feel about the departure of Ash Ketchum? And I would like to know, especially if you are a Pokemon fan, how do you feel about this monumentous moment? Let me know what you think. All right, that son of a gun, he actually went and did it. He finally cut them all. While it's bittersweet to see Ash go, it'll be interesting to see new characters take the helm. Hell, why not go that extra mile and bring in someone like Tim from Detective Pikachu? Also, I don't want to hear anyone in the future saying Roy is too similar to Ash. Unless they're saying it ironically like, oh, you got an Ash on you all right. I see what he's talking about. If you don't get the joke, give it a Google. You know, honestly, the funny thing is that I don't think it's Roy. I think it's honestly the girl. It's Liko that already I've been seeing people making comparisons, because if you look closely, I don't know if I could zoom. Yeah. If you look closely on her, like you see that she has like a little bit of a hair braid, or she has like this green thing that's on her hair. And this thing right here is reminiscent to the green mark that's on Ash's first signature hat. So already I've already been seeing people saying that she is the next Ash Ketchum. All right, what else we got here? I really loved watching the Pokemon series as a kid to my teen years. It was not only the series that introduced me to Pokemon, but to anime in general. I kind of stopped watching it at the end of the X and Y series before Sun and Moon. Ash Ketchum is described as a symbol to not just giving up your dreams and just keep going to be the very best that you can do in your life. And that's why I'm watching the series, The Memories of Ash's Adventures Throughout Many Regions. Farewell, Ash and Pikachu. Man, that is actually a great description. Like, not even I could even think of that. That was actually amazing. A symbol of never giving up on your dreams. Yeah, I think that really is like the best way to describe Ash and why he is so likable and why people were so attracted to him, is because of the passion that he had, the determination that he can always stay forever 10 years old and yet for 25 years try to go and achieve that one goal. Like, it really is admirable. Let's see. Well, he did it. Ash finally did it. He became the very best that no one ever was. It took him 25 years to achieve his goal, and it was definitely worth it. While I haven't watched much of Pokemon, but I think Ash's journey is an inspiration and a message for fans to never give up on their dreams. No matter how long it takes, never give up on your dreams, and the wait and the effort will be worth it. Congratulations, Ash Ketchum. You are now the very best that no one ever was. Let's see now. I haven't watched Pokemon in years, but hearing that the franchise will no longer have Ash and Pikachu as the main characters for the next series, on top of finally becoming the Pokemon Master, left me very surprised after going on for this long while not aging these two beloved characters up as well. I'm not going to watch this given that I grew out of it as a kid, but great to hear that these characters will end off on a strong note. All right, let's see. It's been a fun ride, but it looks like Ash will finally arrive at his stop. We've all enjoyed Ash's adventures, but I feel like it was inevitable he was going to retire, because once he became the Pokemon Master, there's not really much to do afterwards. It'll be sad to say goodbye to Ash and Pikachu, but I'm also glad that he could enjoy his adventures. Also, we might eventually say farewell to Jessie, James, and Meowth, because it's kind of hard to have their shenanigans without Ash and Pikachu. Yeah, that is true, actually. Yeah, I can't really imagine that they're going to continue the whole thing and also bring in Jessie, James, and Meowth. Like, yeah, you gotta have to update that. I think we need a new batch of villains that will cause, like, comical mischief and stuff. Let's see. What else can I think I'll go and read one more before we'll cap this off. Okay, yeah. This definitely feels like the end of an era. Personally, I'm not really that big of a Pokemon fan. I won't deny that the anime made a major impact on our culture and became one of the most iconic animes out there, and seeing it definitely is sad to hear. So overall, Ash Ketchum will absolutely be missed, and hopefully we will see Team Rocket blast off one final time. Ah, yes, definitely so. And with that said, that should do it for today's episode.
Things are gonna get crazy.
That's not what I wanted to do. That should do it for this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, and that should do it for the 2022 episodes of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Now, with all that said, I would like to go and repeat that there will be no episode next week, and that we will be coming back on January 2nd. What the fridge? We will be coming back on January 2nd to go and count down the top 5 animation news stories of 2022. So with all that said, I would like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, and of course, Happy Holidays. And I hope that you will all have a magical and wonderful 2023. May the future bring in a lot more craziness and a lot more fun. So with all that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for your amazing support. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. And also, don't forget to go and subscribe to my Twitch channel and to the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel, as well as to follow me on many other podcast services if you want to just listen to me, like on Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Apple, on iTunes, and many, many more. So with all that said and done, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes!